Today we're going to have a look at Google Search Console. So what's Google Search Console? Well, it's actually been around for quite a while now. It's also been called in the past Google Webmaster Tools. What Google Search Console is, it's a free application that allows you as the website owner to register as the owner of the website directly with Google. If you've got a Google account, this is something you can do free of charge. You can register yourself, your website, and in exchange, Google allows you, in effect, to start a conversation with Google about your website. So what sort of things does it tell you? First of all then, once you've got your website, you can use it to remove links in Google. You can also use it to find out information about pages. That's not all. You can also find out information of things that are going wrong as well. So let's say, for example, there's some indexing issues or some pages aren't being included in Google's index. You can find out about that kind of thing too. Okay, let's get started. So first off then, how do we find it? Well, the easiest thing to do is if we literally just go into Google and type Google Search Console, click on the first link that it comes up, and instantly that will take you straight there. To get started, literally we can just click on the Get Started. We just need to log into your Google account. Next up, as soon as you're logged in, it will ask you then to select a property type. So what's a property? Well, a property, apart from being a thing you live in, is actually going to be your website. So you can have different properties if you've got different domain names or different websites. Most people are likely just to have the one. Now you've got two things, and this is quite an important first step. The first thing is you can sign up using domain authentication. This is entirely possible, but you're going to need to have access to the domain name's DNS. The other thing you need to bear in mind is that DNS takes some time to propagate. That means that even if you can make the DNS change straight away, it might be a few hours until you can actually then test it and use this method of verification. Personally, I find this quite slow and I don't always have access to DNS. Sometimes we're not even allowed to access DNS. My preferred method then tends to be the URL prefix. Now using this option then, you've got a couple of ways to do it. The first thing to do is to make sure that you type in the web address of your website. It's important then to make sure that you have it fully qualified. So by that I mean HTTPS or HTTP. Most websites these days are HTTPS, then : //. Now the other thing is to bear in mind then is if your website is registered with Google as www.yourdomainname, make sure that you have the www. Google will see non-www and www as two different things. So it's important to make sure that this is 100% right. So I'm going to add this in. In this case, I'm just using demo.fl1digital.com. If I go through to the next stage, it will then verify that and try and look up the domain name. Now at this point, you've got two things. You've got either, if you've got Google Analytics already installed, you can use that and it will verify you that way, or Tag Manager. You've also got the HTML tag, or you've got a file. Now, if you've got access to something called FTP or File Transfer Protocol, that will allow you to actually upload the file straight to the root of the website. If we're building a website, that's quite often the quickest way for us to do it, but most people don't usually have that level of access, or not to hand. So usually then the easiest way to do it is using something called the HTML tag method. So in which case, what you do is go to HTML tag here, copy this, put this safe, and just store that somewhere in a text file, but keep it safe to one side. Now the next thing then is you're going to need to get this actually installed into the website. So the way that you might do it if you're going this method is we could add a WordPress plugin in, for example. If I go to WordPress plugins, an easy way to do something like this would be to use the Insert Headers and Footers plugin within WordPress. If you activate that, that will then give you access to insert custom code, just like we have here, into the header or the footer. So within that, I literally just go to Settings, WP Headers and Footers. I'll take my meta tag option here and I can just copy that into the header. Then that's all done. All I need to do is save that, and then when I go back to revalidate, it should then pick up and verify and find that tag. That's one way to do it, okay? We're all verified. So there are quicker ways of doing it as well. Now, if you are looking to get set up with Google Analytics 4 or Google Analytics, or if you want to get Search Console installed at the same time, there's a really great tool by Google that does all the heavy lifting for you. You might want to even consider the Google Sitekit plugin. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to deactivate this plugin here. Otherwise, what will happen is I will have that code installed twice, which is not what I want. Next up, the alternative way of doing it is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use the Google Sitekit. I'm just going to install that. Then I'm going to activate it. Okay, now that's all set up. I'm just going to click Start Setup. Now the easiest way to do this is if you're already logged into your website with the same Google account. The reason is because when you set this up for the first time, it's going to prompt you for various different permissions. if you're not logged in, it's going to make life a lot harder for you. So I'd recommend be logged into Google under the account that you want to connect with when you actually install this. Okay, first then I'm going to click the Google Connect Analysis part of the setup. Then I'm just going to sign in with Google. Next, it will ask me to log in with the account. I'm already logged in under this account now. As you can see, it's now asking me for some additional permissions. Okay, that's all verified. Next, I'm just going to accept all the defaults. And then finally, Google Analytics is now installed. The good thing of using this method now that it's all set up, that's got automatically Google Analytics and Google Search set up all at the same time. So it's all here. And what's also a great thing about this particular method is that it's going to take all the information out of Google Analytics and Google Search Console and display it directly into the back of the website. So it's going to give us a small dashboard that we can look at to see all of our data without even having to leave the back end of the website. This feature on its own is well worth the installation. Hope that helps.